Times where people heckle and stuff like that, right? My friend, who's also a comic, he was dealing with this heckler who's actually very hilarious because every time he told a joke that didn't land, this tourist in the crowd would go, "Not funny!" Has anyone ever done that at your day job? You know what I mean? Like you send an email and someone's behind you like, "That's a shitty email." I wouldn't have sent that. Yeah, so ever since I quit my day job, I've been doing a lot of like commercial auditions and stuff like that. I guess maybe you saw me somewhere, I don't know. But I did an audition recently for an HIV campaign, or at least I tried. And there was a person at the front desk, and she was like whispering to me. She's like, "Are you okay in being in our HIV campaign?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, why does it sound like you're gonna give me HIV campaign? We're just taking photos, right?" So for my day job, any native New Yorkers? Native New Yorkers? It's good to hear. My grandma has lived in New York for the past 50 years. She turned 93 recently. Thank you. 93 just sounds like a number though. Like I didn't really understand how old 93 is, right? Until I went to her apartment. And she has this old black and white photo of herself hanging on the wall from like way back in the day, right? And I'm looking at this photo, and I'm like, wow, she is still really old in this photo. She's been old for a very long time. Like we don't have any official documentation that she experienced youth, you know? Came out that way. So yeah, quit my day job and yeah, so I've been hanging out with my nephew recently. I have a lot of time. My nephew is 5 years old and I treat him as my practice kid because I like to fuck up on him first before I I'll give you an example. I was walking down to the parking lot and as I was walking down, we're walking to my car and he goes, do Superman, right? And Superman is when I take him by the arm and I swing him up and down. So I'm doing this for him. And as I'm doing this, he decides to give himself an extra running jump I wasn't prepared for, right? So he just becomes Superman for a moment. And I'm so glad nobody in the parking lot, like no one was in the parking lot, because with no context, it looked like I just threw a child onto concrete pavement. Like, this is what I do for fun. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of traveling. I don't have any kids, so I've been doing a lot of traveling. Went down to Peru recently. Peru, very lovely place. And have any of you guys been to South America before? Yeah, people? They have these things called coca leaves there. And let me explain to you what these are, okay? First we took a bus tour, very shady, because it's in Peru. It's a very shady bus tour. And we got to our first stop and we see a shaman, right? A shaman who was basically a homeless person, right? And he's showing us these coca leaves, and he's telling us the coca leaf is one of the main ingredients to make cocaine out of, right? So he's burning the leaves and then blowing the smoke into our faces. And I'm looking around to the other tourists like, are we all just casually smoking crack right now? Like, just because we're in another country doesn't make this okay, right? Like if someone told you to smoke crack right now, you'd be like, no. But if you're like, hey, you want to take a 9-hour flight to Peru and then smoke crack? It's like, no, I go, all right. It's not a bad idea. But you guys have been a very lovely audience so far. I really appreciate that. Because like I said, sometimes we do have to deal with hecklers and things like that. I had this one lady sitting in the front row right where you're sitting. And right before I even got on stage, she's super drunk and she talks to her friend for everybody to hear. She goes, you know, his daddy probably helped build the Great Wall of China, right? And I didn't even think about the racism at first. I was just like, logically speaking, that seems way too recent. Like 1970s seems way too recent to be building. Like I can't imagine my dad laying down the last bricks like, what the fuck are we doing still building this wall? Planes flying over everything. I don't think he was built by Koreans, you know? Not factually correct. Well, one of my friends did ask me, he's a comic, and he asked me if I was North or South Korean, which is like, if you don't know me, you can ask that, but like, he's known me for years. I've known this guy for years. I'm like, wait, you thought it was a possibility that I escaped North Korea? Like, somewhere in my past, I was like choking out North Korean pit bulls and like, killing people to get over the border, and as soon as I got over, I was just like, woo, all right, I gotta tell these jokes in America.